In this video, I'm going to be building a $20,000 per month coaching or consulting business completely from scratch that actually gets results. Now let's be clear though, this isn't going to be some get rich quick bullshit that doesn't actually work long term. But if you're serious about building a high profit business with the right foundations so that you can actually coach or consult full time, then this is going to be the model for you. Now the strategy I'm about to lay out for you has taken my clients from zero to getting results like this. It helped me make over $35,000 a month with less than 2,000 followers across platforms. And it took my client RJ from having no niche, no offer, and no coaching experience to closing $30,000 clients in 90 days. Let's get into it. So most coaches are stuck in low leverage business models, right? They're posting content, they're chasing clients around, they're spending way too much time on sales calls, and they're wondering why nothing's working, why their business isn't profitable. And so there are a lot of things wrong with the current way people are running coaching businesses. Now, this also includes anyone that runs like a course business, an education business, right? Same model applies. Okay. So they're stuck in manual delivery. They're repeating themselves on every single call. They're building custom coaching plans for every single client and they're getting burnt out in the process. That's what most people are typically doing. And that is keeping them stuck because it's not sustainable and it's most importantly, not very profitable either. It's definitely not scalable. Now, you might be thinking that a lot of people run group coaching programs as well. But the problem with group coaching programs is that most of the time people get left behind because no one is actually checking to see if they're making progress. No one's there to help people walk them through a systemized process that's actually going to get them results. And so what ends up happening is people end up dropping simply because they don't deliver on their promise of creating a transformation for their clients, right? For the people that have heavily invested their time, money, and energy into coaching programs. And so I built a business model that is meant to completely change that. It's called high leverage consulting. And at the foundation of it, it's built on three simple systems. One system to run the operations of your business, one system to attract clients, and then one system that is meant to intelligently deliver transformations to your clients using AI. Now, the old way of traditional coaching was people would just get on one-on-one calls. There was no framework. They were just basically giving advice, right? It was time heavy and it was using call-based fulfillment. There were inconsistent outcomes for your clients. Transformations weren't happening, or there was just a lot of client dependency on the coach to actually deliver things. And the bottleneck was always the coach because it only grows if they do more work. So they end up in a cycle of burning out, hustling 24/7 to get more clients, pull more people in, and then they eventually plateau and quit because they're completely burnt out. And honestly, it just feels like a job. That is the old way of coaching that I believe we should get away from, right? The new way of coaching is using clear IP systems and infrastructure. So, what that means is your intellectual property, the knowledge that you have gained over the course of your entire life as an expert. You're going to build frameworks around that knowledge, use that intellectual property, turn it into systems, and create structure around those systems in order to deliver a result for other people. And we're going to leverage AI to do it. So you deliver results without having live calls with people. Clients actually win and they get more consistent, repeatable results without having that close proximity to you anymore because they don't need it. They're getting results without you, right? And it's built to scale with you being outside of the delivery. So you're creating a high margin, high impact, freedom first business. And it actually feels like freedom, not a 9 to 5 job, so that your one-on-one time is spent only with clients that are in the top tier level of your coaching program. And that's it. It's pretty simple. So that's what I want to help you build. Now, I have one specific goal for this business model, and it is to take you from being the undervalued expert to becoming the autonomous wealth creator. And what that looks like is you being the person that takes your expertise, your intellectual property, turning it into a systemized business that not only pays you what you're actually worth because you've spent years gaining knowledge, expertise, trial and error, blood, sweat, and tears, all of that, and you should be paid what you're worth. And so I want to help you build a system around that not only pays you what you're worth, but you're able to consistently build wealth through this business model year over year. So the Outcast operating system that I've created is going to help you do that. There are 5 different phases inside of the operating system, and I'm going to be breaking that down inside this video, but this is just a high level of what is to come. So it's going to teach you how to build the foundation of your business, how you should build the core of your brand, what types of content to create, how to attract attention to your business, how do we get people that are our perfect, ideal clients and drop them into our ecosystem strategically. How do we take all the leads that we've gathered into our ecosystem and turn that into high paying clients that are fans of your brand and that will pay you what you're actually worth? That is the goal. So let's talk about how you actually build the business, because even with the right business model, none of it actually works without the right infrastructure behind it. The Outcast operating system was built to literally help you hit the ground running, right? It's going to take all the complexity out of building a coaching business, and it's going to simplify all of it and condense it so you can start speed running towards your income goals. That's what this is all about, right? We're here to coach, we're here to make money, and we're here to move as quickly as possible. So if you're willing to put in the work, you can have this done in just a matter of hours. And the way that it's built is super simple, right? I teach you the core principles behind each system, and then I show you how to build it step by step while using some custom AI tools to help you implement it 10 times faster. So instead of you piecing things together from 20 different YouTube videos all over the internet, you have all the answers you need, you have the structure, and you have a clear path to just grow your business month after month. And that path starts with the first system, which is Founder OS. This is where we lay the foundation that 90% of coaches get wrong. And if it's not done correctly, nothing else in your business will work. So you cannot miss this. So we're going to take you through Founder OS, which is going to help you solidify your niche, your offer, and your unique coaching framework. And then Brand OS is going to help you with your positioning, your mission, your vision, and your selfish goal, because we all need a selfish goal, right? So let's get into it. Starting with your niche, I try to make this as simple as possible. There are three core elements that I consider to be within your niche. Now, this is you having a skill that people will actually pay for. You help one person, which is typically going to be your past self. What's the past version of yourself that needed the transformation that you've already achieved today? And we're going to take that and we're going to turn that into your niche. So that becomes your customer avatar. And then the one problem that you solve, right? There must be pain behind the problem that you solve, or people will not buy. I see a lot of times when people are in like more spiritual niches and stuff, they don't clearly understand the transformation that they're providing for other people, and they can't explain or articulate it, and therefore people don't want to buy because they don't know what they're getting. All right. Now, the problem that you solve must be painful. There has to be pain behind the problem that you're solving. Otherwise, people just aren't willing to pay for it. So the easiest and non-biased way to figure out if you have a skill that people would actually pay for is if they're actually paying for it already, right? So if you have a 9 to 5 job and you're using the skill that people are paying for right now, then yes, people will likely pay for it on the market. If you see other people already making money in a specific industry doing the same thing that you're doing, then yes, that is a skill people will pay for. And that's the easiest way to determine it. The second is your niche not being in a growing market. So, for instance, if you were trying to sell newspapers, you would know that most people aren't buying newspapers anymore because everything is digital. So you wouldn't go into a market that is shrinking year over year. You go into a market that's growing. And so you want to determine that by figuring out, all right, is this something that has an actual future, or is this something that's probably going to go away, especially in the age of AI? And the third and most important is a market that has unresolved pain. So I like to look at this in evergreen value when it comes to unresolved pain. The top three markets that are always going to have unresolved pain are health, wealth, and relationships. If whatever you're doing is positioned into one of those three markets, I guarantee you there is going to be profitability there as long as you position yourself correctly, right? So holistically, your niche is going to be a combination of your skills, who you help, and the problem you solve. That is the easiest and most simplistic way that I can put this together for you. All right, now let's move on to your unique coaching framework. Okay. So, one of the most important things is differentiating yourself on the market, especially in the coaching industry, because it's so crowded, it's so saturated, and you want to stand out amongst the crowd or sea of other people that are out there. And one of the best ways to do that is to have a unique coaching framework, something that no one else can replicate, something that you do differently from the rest of your industry. All right. Now, the biggest framework mistakes that I see people making is, first of all, not having a framework at all. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that never had any strategy or tangible, like step by step framework that they would take their clients through. They would just hop on a call with them and have conversations and do it organically. And while that's great, you need to have an underlying framework underneath that, like a path that people are walking through step by step, to get them specific and attainable results that are repeatable across the board. You can take every single client through it. Maybe small little tweaks will happen, but you have to have that foundation of at least having a framework before you start coaching people, because otherwise, how do you tell when they're making progress or not? How do you tell that they're hitting the goal or not, right? You want to have milestones and progression throughout the process. So, the second is not being different than your competitors. Why would someone choose you over Bob and Susan if you don't have anything that's different than what other people are doing? Because then you just sound like everyone else. How do we build a framework? The most simplistic way I'll break this down for you is just in 5 simple steps. First, you want to define the starting point and the dream outcome that your clients are looking to achieve. What are they coming to you for? What is that transformation and what does it look like? And then you want to reverse engineer that goal from start to finish. You want to create 3 to 5 steps that are going to get them there, outline each of the goals, and have a milestone for each step individually so that you know what completed looks like. And then you want to compare your process to what your competitors are doing to figure out how your process is actually different or even the same. How can you improve it? How can you make it better? How can you make it different? And not different just for the sake of being different, but different in a sense of making it an improvement for your target audience, for your clients. All right, now let's talk about offers. I always tell my clients to start with a premium high ticket offer. You want to charge at least $3,000 for your offer. This is going to be different based on your industry. You may charge a little bit more, a little bit less, but it's really dependent on your industry. You can hit $10,000, $20,000 per month with just having a few clients each month. Now, if you want the actual step-by-step process of building this model for your business and you're tired of trying to piece things together through random YouTube videos and free resources, then my school community is going to be the best place for you to do that. You'll get access to over $10,000 worth of courses, tools, and systems that are made specifically for coaches that actually want to get results in 2025. And just to be clear, this isn't some random course that you just get dumped into. Like, I'm actually in the community giving feedback to every single person that's asking questions, that's posting content inside the community, and I'm making sure that everyone has a clear strategic path to hit their goals. So it is the best resource you're going to find on the internet for building a coaching business that is freedom first and profit first, and it's completely free. It's only going to be free for the first 100 members, and once we hit 100, it's going to become a paid community. So I highly suggest joining before we hit 100 members. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay to get in. Now let's talk about your offer. So if you understand your audience enough, then your offer becomes super simple. All you do is take your target audience and give them exactly what it is they want. What is the transformation that they want from you? What are they coming to you for help for? What does their life look like right now? And where do they want to be? That's it. We keep it super simple and we figure out, all right, how do we reverse engineer that process to give them exactly what they want? We don't need to create demand for our product. All we need to do is go to the market with an offering that's exactly what they already want and then just give it to them. So your offer becomes highly attractive because you're taking something that people already want versus trying to find people that want what you have to offer. And that's a completely different outlook, right? So you want to create a premium experience and charge a premium price. You want to be able to charge upwards of $3,000 plus for your coaching. The biggest mistakes that I see with people and creating offers is they're not solving their prospects' biggest pain points, or they're overcomplicated. It's difficult, it takes too much time to implement, and people don't get consistent results, or they're either underpricing their offer or overpricing it. And so if you make any of these mistakes, you're going to find it very difficult to grow your business because you're underpriced or overpriced for the market. So when it comes to creating an offer, you want to create it around what I call the 5 Ps, right? The promise. The promise is the transformation. The price is obviously the price. The people are your customer avatar, right? Who is your ICP? Who is the person that you want to help the most and who's the perfect fit for what your offer is? The parts are what you actually deliver to your client in exchange for their money, like tangible deliverables. And then the process is your unique coaching framework, right? It's your step-by-step process that you're going to take people through. So most of this has already been defined for you. All you need to do is plug and play this information into your offer and explain it to people in a way that makes sense, in a way that's simple. Because simple is going to be better than overcomplicated and something that people can't even digest when they read it. So my offer looks like one free community that just helps people acclimate into my environment. So my offer in its most simplistic form is different levels of access. I call it an access stack. So the first layer is group Your group will have access to you on maybe weekly or monthly calls, and they may get access to you inside of your community if you respond back to messages, things of that nature, right? They may get trainings and other available information like workshops or whatever that looks like, but they're not getting that individual one on one time with you. The next level is your individual time. And those are the only two offers that I have, right? One is one on one coaching, and the other is just access to a paid community. And in that paid community, people are still getting results. It's just slower because they don't have the one on one access. We're not speed running through all this stuff. But for members that can't afford the higher ticket price, then this is the best option for them to still get those results. They're just moving at a little bit of a slower pace. And that's really the way that I see offers. I don't want to make it super difficult. I don't want to make it super complex. I want to make it easy to not only deliver a result, but for people to understand what your offering actually is as well. So, in order to do that, there's just two levels: access to you directly one on one, or access to you in a group format. That's it. The only thing that you have to focus on with a group format is how can I make sure that these people that don't have access to me one on one are still going to get results? They're still going to achieve the goal. That's it. So now that we've covered offers, we're going to move into brand because branding is extremely important in 2025. All right. So when we talk about branding, the one thing that I want to cover here is that you don't need a massive audience to have a successful business in 2025. You just don't. I think I have close to 2,000 followers like across platforms, and I'm making enough money to be just fine. This is not a concern of mine. I used to be concerned about my audience size. Now I'm just like, I don't care if it grows or even it doesn't. I'm more focused on building a group of highly targeted fans that they believe in my cause, which we'll get to in a second. But that's all I care about. If we are similar, if we have the same goal, then cool, be a part of my community. It's here for a very specific type of person, and not everybody is going to fit that mold. And that's by design. I'm trying to actively repel people that aren't going to be the right fit for my brand and my community. And I'm trying to attract and magnetize people that are, because I want a community of like minded people that are all going to gel with each other. And that's how you do it, right? So I'm not trying to build millions and millions of subscribers and followers and all of that because that's not really what I care about. What I care about is, am I making money? Are my people making money? That's what this is about. So your brand consists of your positioning, your mission, your vision, and I believe a selfish goal. And so I'm going to help you break that down and build that out. There are four key elements to an Outcast personal brand. The first is starting with your market positioning. So in this image, you've got yourself here and you've got the rest of your industry. And what I want to help you do is strategically create some positioning for yourself that essentially creates a niche of one, right? How can you stand out on the market and be the only one doing the thing that you do the way that you do it? That's the most simplistic way I can explain this to you. So, with that being said, when you do that successfully, that means you can dictate your own prices. You're not competing with other people because there is no other you out there. And you create a blue ocean. So, if you've ever heard of the theory of the red ocean, blue ocean concept, like that is what we're doing here. We're building your own lane in your industry that's just for you, it's not for anyone else. This is how you become unique in a sea of sameness, in a sea of all these other people doing the same exact things, and they're just creating a bunch of noise in the market. You need to be different. And so your market positioning is going to help you do that. It's going to help you stand out, right? So this is just a high level framework that you can use to differentiate yourself, but it's also going to be used to help you like study the market and see exactly what other people are doing and how you stack up to that so you can figure out, how do I create my own lane? How do I create something that's going to be different from everybody else? So the different categories are your audience clarity, your offer architecture, your messaging and point of view, your delivery experience, and your transformation promise, right? So if you can create some variety or some difference in all aspects of this table, then you can differentiate yourself pretty well by just having a unique opinion right here under message or POV, having a different type of offer than what everyone else has, having a very specific target audience instead of saying you help women get unstuck, or let's say you're a fitness coach and you help women lose weight, maybe you help women over 35 lose 20 pounds. There's some specificity and variation there that will help you stand out, and that will also help your target audience uniquely identify if they fit into your target audience. You can also differentiate on the delivery experience. So, whereas a lot of people do manual one on ones and they're doing a ton of hand holding, I'm converting into an AI supported milestone tracked school delivery system. And it's super high touch, but it doesn't require me to be in the business 24/7. That's only for my highest level clients that get that one on one direct support from me. But everybody else will still get the transformation. They just don't need me to be with them one on one every single week. So, you can also differentiate on your transformation promise. For me, it's to help the experts and coaches that I work with build 20K a month businesses powered by intelligent systems and not having them constantly have to hustle for every dollar that they make. Right. I want to completely change how the coaching industry has been operating thus far. And I want to do that with AI. And I want to help people build freedom first businesses for themselves. That is my goal. So feel free to use this as a way to differentiate yourself. Take a screenshot. I also have a lot of these resources inside of my school community, so you can always download them there as well. All right. Now let's talk about having a unique point of view, right? So you want to have one core belief, one world belief that is the foundation for your entire business. It's why you exist as a business owner right now. It's why you do the work that you do. So for me, my core belief is the future of coaching belongs to unconventional founder led brands that create wealth, freedom, and impact without playing by the outdated industry rules anymore. So there are a lot of ways that I have built systems that kind of defy the odds of what the traditional coaching industry looks like. But this is the foundation of what it is that I do. This is the impact that I'm trying to lead. And I want to help people build wealth and freedom outside of the traditional forms of a 9 to 5 job or the traditional forms of making money, because I think that's outdated. And I think that we deserve better for ourselves. We deserve to have more freedom. We deserve to not have to grind for every single dollar that we make and work on an hourly basis and all that crap. My positioning statement is helping solo experts, coaches, consultants, and educators scale to 20K plus months by building intelligent, systemized businesses that run without them. So, again, you can take these frameworks, infuse them into your business, and figure out what your unique opinion is, and then build a positioning statement around that unique opinion. And that is the stuff that you infuse into all the content that you create. All right. So, next, let's talk about your mission. Your mission is why you give a shit about what you do. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And we need to have a clear, specific mission, because otherwise, how can people get behind us and want to help us with that mission, right? Want to help themselves with whatever it is that we are trying to provide or produce in the world. So, your mission needs to be a measurable outcome that you're driving people toward, or that you're driving toward yourself. So, it consists of what you do, who you do it for, and where you are taking people. Right. My mission is to help 10,000 unconventional coaches and experts build intelligent, system driven businesses that scale past 20K a month so they can create freedom, wealth, and a global impact. So, you want to think really deeply about what it is that you stand for, what you're trying to build, and how you can share that with other people, how you can share it in your content, how you can share it with the people that are maybe inside of the community that you have, or you can share it with people that are on your email list, right? It doesn't matter how, it just matters that you get the message out that this is your mission and this is why your brand exists. This is what you're driving towards. All right. Now let's talk about your vision. Your vision is what you're building that is bigger than you. So this is the world that you're creating once your mission actually succeeds. So your mission is like, all right, this is the thing that we're driving towards. This is the change that we're trying to make. And then your vision is, this is what happens once I make that change. This is what the world looks like after I've made that change. So this could be like the change in your industry, this could be a change in the world, or this could be the change in people's lives that they have after you succeed. So we're thinking big picture here, and we're trying to dream of a better world because of what we've done, because of the impact that we've created. This is how we redistribute power from institutions to individuals, from 9 to 5 survival to generational legacy and wealth. That is the goal for me. That is what I want to help people achieve. And I believe that we are now encountering one of the biggest redistributions of wealth that the world has ever seen. And I want to be one of the people that is leading that cause. That is why I'm here. That is what I care about. And that is what I'm striving for. That is what I'm trying to help other people achieve. And collectively, I think that we can make a huge impact in doing so. Now, next is your movement, right? This is the cultural or philosophical shift that your brand stands for. All right. So think of your movement as like the culture or the tribe that you're building to actually achieve that overall mission and vision. Okay. So these all work collectively together. When you put them together, they stack one on top of the other. So for your movement, you want to think about, who are your people? What do they stand for? Why do they gather around you? Why do they feel like you're the person to help lead the charge, right? So for the Outcast Collective, which is my community, it is a movement for creating a new era of autonomous wealth creators, experts who turn their knowledge into scalable businesses that run without them, architects of a new education economy, one where money moves out of corporate hands and into creators, coaches, and consultants shaping the future. This is the biggest movement that is happening right now, and I want to be one of the biggest leaders of this movement. And my goal is to help my people, the people that are unconventional, the outcasts, the misfits, the people that have never really fit in and that didn't feel like the 9 to 5 structure was for them. Maybe they fit themselves into that box, but it never really felt right. Those are my people, because I've had that same experience myself. Those are the people that I can speak to the best. Your movement needs to be identity driven, and the identity for the people that are inside of my movement is to become autonomous wealth creators. All right. Now, at the core of all of this is you, the coach, right? You want to have a selfish goal, aka, what does this business actually do for you? Because, of course, we're all in it for ourselves, and that's totally okay. But having that bigger picture view, like having something else that is driving you, because for me personally, money is not enough to drive me to achieve these goals. It needs to be bigger than me, but I also have my own selfish goals as well. So it's totally okay for you to have selfish goals. And in fact, I think you should tell everyone what your selfish goals are. For me, I want to live a life where my brand fuels my freedom so I can build generational wealth while staying wildly authentic and just be myself. So your selfish goal is the honest, unapologetic why behind your work. What does your business give you? Does it give you freedom? Does it give you options? Does it give you legacy? Say whatever that thing is that your business gives you, because there's no point in trying to hide the fact that you're also in this for yourself. Everyone already knows it. Just tell the truth. Just be honest. Just be real. Be like, yeah, this is what I want for myself. And I want to help you guys do it too. So once I became a digital nomad and I started living a more freedom filled life, then I realized that my lifestyle actually was the growth strategy. So I'll talk about that in a second when we get into the freedom flywheel. But to put all this together in terms of your brand, you want to define your positioning statement, right? And then you want to figure out what your vision, mission, movement, and selfish goals are. Here's what I believe. Here's what I'm doing about it. Here's the shift we can all create together. And here's what I want as my selfish goal for this as well. Right. So just to sum all that up, you need to define all of these things in a clear, tangible way for your business, for your brand. And this becomes your North Star. This becomes the thing that you infuse into all of your content. This becomes the message that you infuse into everything else that you do. So people know like who you are and what you're actually striving towards, and they can get behind that mission. They have something to believe in that's more than just you. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than everything. All right, now let's move into part 2. We've already built the foundation of the business. Now we need to start attracting clients. So how do we do that? How do we attract aligned clients that are in alignment with our vision, with our brand, with the things that we want to accomplish, and that are really like perfect fits for our coaching or consulting program? So this consists of Content OS, which is nurturing your audience and creating content. It also consists of Attention OS, which is attracting the right clients that are perfectly aligned with what you do. And then Conversion OS, which is how to convert through trust-based sales. So starting with Content OS. The whole goal of creating content is my philosophy of creating an ecosystem of influence. Now, my ecosystem of influence consists of Instagram, YouTube, school, and my email newsletter. This is how people hop into my ecosystem and they get consistently nurtured through all of the content that I create. That's all driving down further into my funnel, and it's helping people understand who I am, what I'm about, and how I can help them. Now, when it comes to creating content, there are really only 3 types of content that you should be creating as a coach. The first is growth content. That's purely meant to attract the right audience to you. The second is authority or brand content. This is meant to build a deeper relationship with your audience, right? So they go from just being a follower or someone that has seen your content before to getting nurtured by you consistently. And then the third is sales content. This is what actually drives conversion. This is what takes people that are sitting on the fence, not knowing whether or not you're the right person to help them solve their problem, and it pushes them onto the other edge of becoming a client. When it comes to market level awareness stages, there are actually 5, but I'm only going to talk about 3 because I believe that these are the only 3 that matter for the context of creating content. Okay. So in your audience, there are always going to be 3 specific client types. The first is the person that's unaware or problem aware. The second is the person that is solution aware. And the third is the person that is product aware. This is the deepest part of your funnel. And your funnel is going to consist of all three of these people. Now, if you don't create content for each person, then they have no way to get from point A to point B to point C, A being the top of your funnel, B being the middle of your funnel, and C being the bottom of your funnel. And the bottom of your funnel is where you make money. So, to break this down in the most simplistic way possible, we'll start with the top of funnel. When I say unaware or problem aware, what this means is the person that is at the top of your funnel is either unaware that they even have a problem at all, or they know they have a problem, but they don't understand what the root cause of that problem is. They don't know why they have that problem. So their mindset is here, where it's, I'm stuck and I don't really know why I'm stuck. I just know that I'm stuck. So what they need at this level is content that brings them clarity, right? You want to break their incorrect or limiting beliefs and wake them up to the truth of their situation. The easiest way for me to explain this is typically around people that are like working with fitness because I think it's a universal concept. So the person that is at the top of your funnel as a fitness coach might be the person that's like, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight. I know I need to lose weight, but I've tried to eat less and work out more and it didn't work for me and I don't know why. Maybe they don't understand enough about nutrition, maybe they don't understand enough about working out, maybe they don't understand enough about discipline or whatever that looks like for them. There are multiple things or issues that they're encountering and they just don't know the core reason behind why they're having these challenges. About 95% of the market is sitting right there, unaware or problem aware. So problem aware and unaware is where most of your content should be if you want to continuously grow. Growth content is meant to address this specific client type, your top of funnel, the person that's problem aware or unaware. Now, the reason why we need to communicate at each of these stages is to push people through the buying process. And the better that you get at doing all of this, the more consistently you will create revenue for your business because you'll understand that, okay, I'm communicating the right messages to the right people at the right time, and they're getting further and further into my funnel because I've given them exactly what they needed to either create clarity, trust, or a sense of urgency to buy the product or service. Right. So we want to do this very strategically. And most people, when they're creating content, they're not hitting on each of these points, and therefore their content isn't converting. So I want to help you solve this problem here. All right. So let's talk about your middle funnel. Your middle funnel is solution aware people, right? Their mindset is, I know I need help, but I don't know who to trust or what advice to actually take. Now, this is like in the coaching space, this is where most people are sitting because it's so oversaturated with a bunch of coaches. Everyone has a different way of solving a problem, and most people are super aware of all the different types of solutions for them, but they don't know which one is the right one. They don't know who they should trust because maybe they've had a bad experience before, or maybe they just are stuck trying to make a decision and so they don't choose anyone. So the biggest lever that you can pull here is creating trust-based content. Now, trust-based content could be educational content. It could be you showing that you've gotten results for yourself. It could be showing them how to solve a specific micro problem with your educational content that proves to them, okay, this person actually knows what they're talking about because they've helped me solve many problems within my business or within whatever it is that you coach on. This is where you're going to pull the biggest levers here in building trust. All right. So your goal with this type of content is to prove to them that you get it by creating small micro wins consistently in your content. Educate and teach on your unique mechanisms, your ways of doing anything. Show them why your mechanisms are better than what everybody else is doing. That's how you build authority. And authority-based content is what creates trust. All right. Now, your bottom of funnel is product aware people. So these are the people that are already inside of your ecosystem and they're the closest members to buying whatever your coaching or consulting service actually is. They already trust you, but now they're like, should I do it now? I want to do it, but I'm not sure I'm ready to move right now. That's their mindset. And so for this specific client type, you want to be creating content that creates urgency for them. Push them to act now instead of later. This is your sales content, right? So the best way that I would describe this is showing a lot of proof of results, of case case studies and triggering the mindset, like understanding what is it that's keeping them stuck. Is it because they're overthinkers? Is it because they don't think right now is the right time because they think they can solve the problem on their own? What is the issue that's keeping them stuck in this stage? Because the quicker you can break this barrier is the quicker that they can then become a client. They're just sitting on the fence. All they need is a little bit of a push. Your job is to push them over the fence. So now that you understand the three client types and the market level awareness stages and what these mindsets are, the more that you start to understand your target audience, the more knowledge you have behind what they're thinking at each stage, the more you can deliver a message that speaks to them directly from where they are. All right. Because at the end of the day, your content needs to help people trust you in three specific areas. The first is they need to trust you as the coach. Are you the right person to actually help them achieve their goals? And typically, this is found in who you are as a person, right? Do they like your style of coaching? Do they like your vibe? Do they understand what values you hold for yourself? Because that's what you want to emphasize more inside of your content, right? A lot of my clients told me that they chose me because I was real and authentic. They could relate to me. They like me as a person. I was just super chill. When they talked to me, I was super knowledgeable on the phone and I helped them solve their problems without them ever being a client of mine. So they knew that I could help them. And I think those are the most important things that you need to know about yourself. What's the reason why people choose you versus other people? Right? What is that differentiator that's different about you? And you want to overemphasize that inside of your content so that your unique personality, like whatever those traits are about you, highlight them a little bit more in your content because then people can clearly see, oh, I want to choose this person because of this one thing. Okay. The second is they need to trust your offer. Can your offer actually deliver them a result? And that's what our content is really here to do is it's to help them build trust in our offer. And the third is your unique mechanism. Everybody has a different way of doing things. You need to show why your way of doing things is better than other people's. And so it helps to know what are the other things that people are teaching inside of your industry and how do you do it differently? And that's why we focus on positioning so that you know how to communicate your difference to your audience. All right, so now that you have a foundational understanding of your ecosystem of influence, the types of content we need to be creating, and the market level awareness stages, now we want to talk about zooming out for a second so I can explain to you what the Outcast Freedom Flywheel is. When I first started creating content and when I became a digital nomad, something that I discovered by accident was that my freedom actually fuels my lifestyle. So I travel, I explore, I connect, and I live fully. And my lifestyle becomes the content. So when I'm out taking trips, I share stories with other people, I connect with other people, I show them behind the scenes of what I'm doing, and that ends up attracting more like minded people. And what's interesting is when you start attracting more like minded people, those authentic interactions naturally build trust because you're not out here trying to sell people, but you would be shocked at how many clients I've gotten completely off the internet. And it's just because I'm networking with people, I'm interacting with people, and I will either get referrals or I will get people that I interact with or I meet somewhere while I'm traveling. Like I met some people in Vietnam while I was traveling that became clients. I met people in Bangkok or in Chiang Mai that became clients. I met people in Bali that became clients. And I wasn't trying to sell them anything. We just ran into each other. We started talking. They asked me what I did. I asked them what they did. We got into these natural, authentic conversations. And I would just explain to them how to solve a problem or whatever. And they'd be like, oh man, I never thought about it that way. You are naturally just sharing your knowledge with people without any expectation. I wasn't trying to get clients. I literally was just having regular conversations with people. And they were like, oh man, how do I sign up? How do I join your program? And so my lifestyle ended up creating so many opportunities with me and in my business because I met aligned people and I was just having real conversations and I wasn't pitching them on anything. I didn't have any expectation of them becoming clients. They just came to me. Because you're walking proof of what you teach, your content brings more freedom and visibility to you and you grow, you scale, and you live even freer. And then it loops over and over again. So once you understand the freedom flywheel, you realize that your lifestyle is actually the thing that creates the growth of the business without you even trying, right? So I'm naturally going to attract by being who I am and by traveling and by doing all these things. I attract people offline and online that are in alignment with me and what I do as a business owner. And that is the best thing about what it is that I do. And so I want you to have that same freedom. I want you to have that same abundance of energy and being able to attract like minded people and that magnetism because you don't try anymore. You just become your niche. And that's the most beautiful thing that you can do is just being yourself and attracting the people that naturally come to you without even trying. All right. So the last topic we need to talk about when it comes to creating content, because I want to get really strategic and tactical with you here. This is a mistake that I see a lot of people make when it comes to creating content. They're told to just create some content pillars and create content around like specific topics or high level views, right? But what they don't understand is that the content relevance actually matters here. And it's super important if you want your content to be very strategic and to cut through like a knife, to specifically attract the type of people that you want to attract and to get them very quickly to see you as an authority within your niche. And we do this by doing what I call content mapping. So while most coaches are just like creating random content, we're building a precision bridge. And the way that this works is we start with the point A to point B transformation, right? Your audience's current pain is the point A, and their dream result is point B. So, what you want to do is define what point A actually looks like and what point B looks like, and then map out the exact roadblocks that they hit between point A and point B. And those points become your content strategy. Right? We don't go over here, we don't go over there, whatever. We are only talking about exactly what that path looks like for your target audience. And when your content hits exactly where they're stuck and it communicates the right message to them at the right time, you become the only person they trust to get them unstuck, right? Because you're the only one speaking directly to them. And that's where messaging and content precision or relevance becomes super important here. And this is how you get fast results with your content as well, right? So for me, the point A of my audience's current pain looks like confusion, burnout, they're stuck, they're not making enough income, right? Maybe they're stuck between two to 10 grand somewhere in there. And they're just not getting consistent revenue in their business. So they're posting a lot, but they're not getting clients. They feel overwhelmed by all the free advice that they see out there, but they're just not getting the results. And so what they want is a clear brand, a scalable offer, consistent 20K plus months, and they want content that actually pulls in ideal clients like clockwork. Like they want it to be easy, they want it to be smooth, they want to feel in control of their income and their business. They want a business that actually buys back their time because that's why most of us joined this industry in the first place. Like we were sold a dream and the reality of that dream is nothing like what we were told. So they want a business that actually gives them the freedom that they were seeking when they started. All right. So your job is to literally just map out those pain points. I'm going to show you a visual of this. So think about this. All right, pain point number one, pain point two, pain point three, pain. So what you want to do is, let's say for instance, my niche, I'll take it all the way back to the beginning and say that there's someone here that just started coaching and they're like, yeah, I have a rough idea of what my niche is, but I don't exactly know what it is. So my goal is to understand the mindset of a person that is confused about their niche and communicate to them about that specific pain point and then deliver them the answer to the questions they have in their mind. So most people, when they're trying to find their niche, they are struggling between 10 different options and they're like, oh, but I'm really good at this and I want to do this and I want to help these people and I don't want to leave anyone out. I hear the same thing all the time from my clients, from people in my community. They're like, but I'm leaving people out. I just can't choose. This one doesn't feel right if I niche down. All of that stuff. I already know what they're thinking. All I need to do is communicate that I know what they're thinking and give them the answers that they're seeking. All right. So I'm going to help you define your niche in a very clear step by step process that you can understand and execute right now, today, and get results with. Let's solve the problem right now and speak to the mindset, the issues that they have, not wanting to niche down. You think that you're losing clients when the reality is you don't have any clients. So, what do you have to lose by niching down? You don't have results yet. So, people are like afraid that they're going to choose the wrong thing, whatever that is. I speak to that. I solve the problem. Boom. Now you've gotten a quick result or a micro win from my video. Now we move into phase two. All right, now they need to decide, okay, what's going to be my offer? How am I going to sell this thing? What am I going to price it at? All these questions. Again, I just come in, I swoop in. I know what problems they're going to have with charging. Either they're probably going to undercharge themselves, try to charge hourly, or they're going to overcharge when they don't have the case studies or results to back up a high priced program. So I'm going to help them navigate that situation more clearly. Boom, I've just solved another problem. And now I've built a quick amount of trust in such a short amount of time that they're likely to come into my ecosystem because they're like, okay, this person is a leader in this industry. This person has helped me substantially already. And I just started watching their content. Let me get a little bit deeper into their ecosystem and see what they got going on. That's all we're trying to do here in the most simplistic way possible. The easiest ways to do this, you want to talk about current pressures and opportunities. All right. So current is what are the facts and details of their situation right now, where they're at? What are they struggling with right now? So for my industry, it could be I'm only making 2 to 5K a month. I want to scale my business. I don't know how. Or I'm burnt out on one-on-one delivery, but I don't know how to build a scalable solution. I can help my clients do that, right? I help all of my clients build scalable businesses that are automated. I don't know how to get leads. I'm not getting enough leads, right? I help my clients do that as well. So that is their current situation. And the facts surrounding that are these are the tangible or external details of their situation that they would identify by. But we can't stop there because we need to understand the mental and emotional weight of that current situation in order to speak to them both logically and emotionally. Because people make emotional based decisions and then they justify with logic. We need to address both parts of the brain in order to hit them in a full way. So they might feel like everyone is ahead of them. They're scared that they'll never succeed in this industry. They don't have a clear path and they feel like they've been doing this for so long and not getting any results. That's typically the mindset that they're under at this stage in their business when they're making that 2 to 5K per month. And they're like, there has to be an easier way to solve these problems. So knowing that these are the ways that they feel, I have to create content that is going to not only speak to them emotionally, but also speak to their external situation so they understand that, oh, this person gets it, like really gets it. This person is communicating to me in the way that I need at this moment. You have to meet them where you're at. Now, third is opportunities. So, knowing the current situation, knowing the emotional pressures that they're facing, what is the potential that they sense but they don't know how to reach? Their potential is I want to hit 20K a month. I want to scale beyond that, but I just don't know how. So it's your job to show them the opportunity that exists within their current situation. They just don't know how to get there yet, and you're here to bridge that gap for them. So their mindset might be like, I know my work is powerful, but it's just not selling. People aren't coming to me. I'm not getting DMs. I'm not getting any leads. So it could also be, I want more freedom in my life, but right now I don't have that because I'm constantly working on my business. So that's for me to show them, oh, there's a systemized approach to this where you don't have to work as much as you've been working. The reason you've been working this much is because you don't have the systems and you don't have the skills that are necessary to elevate yourself to that next level, to that next stage. I only want to work with people that are motivated, people that want to put in the work, people that are dedicated to their craft and they want to become better because that's what this program is about. So I'm going to show you what better looks like. I'm going to show you that there's more freedom out there. I'm going to show you that you could be making way more money if you have the right systems. So you want to bridge that gap and understand how this applies to your specific industry and how you can show people these various things in all of your content. I promise you, hit these notes in your content. People are going to feel the difference. You are going to feel the difference in the content you create because of this. All right. So just applying these strategies alone within your content, I promise you, you're going to see a significant difference in how many leads you generate by doing this. All right. So now that we've covered content creation, now we want to talk about how do we actually attract the right leads into our ecosystem? Because content without leads doesn't really work, right? We need to fill our pipeline with qualified leads that are actually interested in what we do. They're perfect fit clients. They just need to be nurtured enough to become clients. So once we've really nailed our content, now we need to drive traffic, drive attention to our content so that we can start converting more viewers into followers and followers into clients. So your content is purely meant to nurture the leads that you've already generated, right? The qualified people that are in your ecosystem right now that would be a perfect fit client. We want to push more of those people into your pipeline, okay? And the way that I do that is by using paid ads. Now, I don't spend a ton of money on ads, but I do spend enough just to continuously generate leads inside of my business because I don't purely rely on organic content. Now, I'm not the person that says you should just run paid ads and that's it because I don't believe that's the most sustainable way to grow your business. I find that if I pour a little bit of money into ads every single month, then my business stays consistently profitable without sacrificing too much of my revenue or my profit on paid ads. So my organic and my paid ads work together to unify this system. And I'm going to break down exactly what I do. So the Outcast signature ads that I help my clients run and that I run for myself are written to attract only your hyper targeted audience. So we're not trying to build like a viral system. We're just trying to attract the right people. And if you attract enough of the right people, then it will be very easy for you to maintain a consistent flow of revenue inside of your business. Now, you're going to create organic content that is based on your IP or your unique point of view and your intellectual property, your frameworks, right? And your unique insights, not generic tips that people are just going to find all over the internet. That's how this works. It has to be unique. It has to be uniquely you, and you have to do things differently. But these ads are going to be designed to repel the wrong people and magnetize the right ones into your business. So you may not think that they're working because they're repelling so many people, but you'll also see that the quality of people that come into your program, that come into your ecosystem, are far superior to anything else you do with like purely organic content. And so that's why these are so powerful. They attract the right people and they push the wrong people away. All right. And this is the bridge between your brand and your buyers. This is how we attract them and this is how we pull them in. Ads are just going to be strategically engineered content that's built using proven high performing organic content formats, and they're fueled by paid traffic. So, what I mean by high performing organic content formats is we're going to take strategies from content that's already working within your industry. Just by doing a little bit of research and finding high performing content, we style the ads based on what's performing the best in your industry. And then we use your unique messaging, we use your unique frameworks and systems inside of the content to attract the right people, but also because that will perform best when it comes to paid ads. So instead of just setting them into a black hole of an email sequence or to download a lead magnet, they get nurtured consistently either through a school community or through DM conversations or through lead magnets where they get hit with email sequences and they get pushed deeper into your ecosystem. I always try to push people into different avenues like email sequences where I know I'm hitting specific pain points that this specific person needs help with. And that really bridges the gap between where they are and getting them nurtured and then getting them to see you as the right solution for their problems. So we want to create content that feels like regular content, but it functions like a conversion system. Now, there are three different types of ads that I typically run. One is an awareness ad, the second is a lead magnet ad, and the third is a retargeting or a DM ad. Each of these serves a different purpose. The first is the awareness ad. Now, this is really just meant to call a pain point your target audience has. It's going to show them proof in a credibility statement that shows, okay, this is a person that's never seen you before. They don't know anything about you. And so they need to know that you can be trusted as an authority. So you're going to want to show case studies, testimonials, or have some form of proof inside of this ad to show that it's even worth their time watching or following you or dropping into your ecosystem, right? All we're trying to do is make more people aware of you and your brand. Right now, your problem is likely that people just don't know that you exist and maybe your content isn't nurturing them properly. So we want to build more awareness around your brand and who you are. The second is a lead magnet ad. Now, this is strategically meant to call out your audience's pain points so you can then solve it within the video. So, all you're going to do is call out the pain point, show proof and credibility statement before you provide the solution. Then you give the value, and then you offer a lead magnet as the natural next step to helping them solve that problem in a very strategic and simple way, a way that's better than what they've been doing already. And all of this is going to be automated. So you don't really have to do anything. You just set it and go. It delivers on demand, and all you have to do is nurture the leads with your content. All right. And the third is retargeting or DM ads. So this is added strategically after we've already been running ads for a little while. Usually 30 to 60 days, we're getting a good flow of leads, and we want to then push them to either send us a DM or to take another call of action, like downloading another lead magnet, whatever's going to get them deeper into the ecosystem so that we can then continue to nurture them and take them from being like somebody that's just a follower to pulling them into our ecosystem and strategically nurturing them in the best way possible to become a client. So these retargeting ads are only for the people that have already clicked on your ads. They're already following you. These are the only people we're trying to target with these, and we don't need a big ad budget for this at all. But all we're going to do is call out a pain point that your target audience has, show proof and credibility, and then push them through your DMs where you can then strategically provide an offer or have a conversation with them about what it is they're struggling with. And this is the best option for you to potentially close those clients as well. All right. So all I do is run these very simple ads for both myself and for my clients. And you can start with a budget of as little as like $20 to $30 per day. Nothing crazy. And that just starts getting the ball rolling. What you'll see in the first 30 days is it might be a little bit slow because ads have a learning phase. But after you hit that first 30 days and you're consistently checking your KPIs to make sure that your ads are profitable, and after the first 30 to 60 days, you'll see yourself closing more clients consistently and it just ramps up. And that's why we build an ecosystem, because the more content you produce, especially on YouTube, it's just evergreen. You have a library full of content that people will binge as soon as they find you. People that are the perfect fit clients of yours that just don't know, they're just not aware that you even exist yet. They will find you and see you as the solution to their problems as long as you create good enough content, right? And that's really all we're trying to do. We're trying to pull in the people that need to be a client of yours and get them to become aware of you and then slowly pull them in over time. Now, some people might close in the first week, some people might close in the first 30 days, some people might close in 6 months, right? It just depends on where they're at in their journey and what stage they're at. And so your job is to just be there when the time is right for them to say, yeah, I think I'm ready to pull the trigger on this. All right, now let's talk about sales. I do not take sales calls anymore. Now, the reason behind this is because I believe that if your content is doing its job, if you are nurturing people properly and your content is actually educating them on your process, on your unique views, and it's actually solving problems, then sales becomes super easy. And any call that you take just becomes an enrollment call. So I coined the term trust-based enrollment method, which is what I coach my clients on. I am not in the business of trying to convince someone of my value, trying to convince someone that I'm the right person for them. Either you get on a call with me because you believe that I'm the right person for you, or you don't. I'm not going to convince you. If you're like trying to choose between me and someone else, then choose that person. I understand my value and I know that the people that work with me are all progressing, they're all getting results. So I'm not concerned with convincing anyone, and nor should you be. So when it comes to sales, I typically just have sales conversations, meaning someone is interested in joining the program and they have a few questions. I'm totally open to answering their questions. I will sometimes even hop on calls with some of my community members to help them work through issues and see if they want to join, or what's the reason why you haven't joined so far. That's it. Maybe they have some limiting beliefs. Maybe they have some objections that they think are real objections, but they're really excuses, or they're just reasons that are stopping them from progressing in their goals. And sometimes, as leaders, we need to help them through those barriers. And so I do coach my clients on objection handling. However, it's not for the purposes of convincing them to join a program that they don't want to join. It's simply to just help them remove the barriers that are keeping them stuck. Mindset issues. I don't want to join a program because I've been scammed in the past, or I don't want to join a program because I think I can do it on my own. If you could have done it on your own, you would have done it already, right? Those are the things that sometimes we have to help people through on a call, and that's totally okay. But again, I'm not here to convince anybody to join the program, because if I have to convince you to become a client on a call, you're not going to be a good client. You're probably going to ask for a refund later, or you're probably going to have buyer's remorse or whatever. It's a waste of my time. Like, I'm here to work with big players, people that want results, people that are motivated and driven to change their lives. And if you don't have that type of energy, you're not my type of client. People that want a get rich quick scheme, that's not what this is about. I don't work with those type of people. I work with people that are motivated and driven, and they're willing to put in the work because they know that the results are worth it. And they're willing to put in the time and energy to do that. I don't make fake promises. So there's a lot of people out here that are going to try to scam you or try to tell you in 5 days you're going to make 20 grand. Probably not likely to happen. I'm going to be real with you and tell you that it takes work. It takes time and energy. Once you build it and you consistently feed the machine, you're going to get the results. That's it. That's all. So if you want help with objection handling on the calls that you do take, I have a sales call simulator inside of my community that you can use for free. It literally helps you role play your sales calls. It creates a fake persona and everything of whoever your target audience is. It knows enough about your program to be able to handle and ask you questions about it and give you objections that you might typically hear on your calls, and you can just use it for free. So that's also inside my school community. And again, it will become a paid product pretty soon. But my personal belief is that you should nurture people so well within your content that sales calls become unnecessary. For the people that are actually ready to join my program, I just send them a sales document that shows them my offer, shows them what the price is, everything that they need to know about the program, and I walk them through the process. That's it. If they want to hop on a call just to talk through something, maybe they're a little bit scared or whatever, I don't mind hopping on a call with them, helping them work through some of those fears or some of the things that maybe they're experiencing, just so they can see that I'm a real person and that I'm exactly who I say I am throughout my content and when you meet me in person or whatever, if they need to feel that to be able to trust me. But my philosophy is build trust within your content so that sales calls become irrelevant. All right, now let's get into part three, which is delivering results automatically. This is the Outcast Intelligent Delivery Stack. All right, so this is the best way to get client results and build case studies for your program automatically. I know everybody has started integrating AI into their workflows and stuff, but this is what I see as the most tangible way of automating your clients' results without you having to deliver everything one on one. So let's talk about the old way first. So the old way is building courses and digital products, which are scalable, but they typically fail in execution because when somebody gets dropped into a course and they have no accountability, they are maybe given some resources or let's say like some workbooks or something, and they're like, hey, go get results with this workbook that I created for you. But the problem is, people don't actually know how to apply the knowledge that they're learning in the course. And so when they do the work themselves, it looks nothing like what you would have done as the expert. And so people fail in execution. The traditional coaching method works because if you're good at coaching other people, then cool, you can do that one on one, but one on one isn't scalable. You can only work with so many people before you burn out. So the third method is consulting or done for you services, which work well, right? People typically get results because you're the one doing all the work. But again, you burn out or you have to build a massive team in order to keep growing your business. Like every time you get a new client or a couple new clients, then you have to hire someone else to start doing the work. And so it requires way too much time to execute and it's only scalable with a team. So all three of those have major bottlenecks or issues that are going to stop you from growing and it's going to stop you from being as profitable as possible. So, what I built was the Outcast Intelligent Delivery Stack. This is a way for you to get automated, scalable client results without dependency one on one coaching. The goal was to build a system that delivers transformation at scale without you relying on one on one coaching. And it thinks and adapts and supports you even while you're sleeping. So it's going to coach your clients for you. When they have questions, those questions can be answered. And it's using your IP system strategically with AI, meaning you, the person that has all of the solutions and all of the knowledge, you build the systems, right? You build the frameworks around how to actually apply the knowledge that you have effectively with your clients. You build a repeatable process that they can run through consistently, no matter who they are, and keeping in mind all the variances between your clients, how it can be customized. And then you hand those solutions to AI to actually execute on that work for you and coach your clients for you. So, at a high level, that's the explanation. Now let's dive into the three layers of intelligent delivery. The first layer is knowledge. So most of you that are coaching or consulting, your clients lack very specific knowledge that they need in order to get the results that they want. They don't need all of the knowledge that you have, but they need the applicable knowledge that is required to help them achieve their goals. And so we need to build a knowledge layer into our delivery mechanism. The second layer is AI execution. So once we have the knowledge container for them to learn from, now we need to help them actually execute on the things that we've taught them in the specific way that is going to get them results. All right, so let me give you an example. Let's say I wanted to coach people on riding bikes, okay? And I told them all you have to do is get on the bike and sit on the seat and then push the pedals forward like this. So I've explained it. They should be fine, right? But why, when I tell people to get on the bike and they start pedaling, they just keep falling over? Because they need training wheels, right? They need boundaries. They need clear, defined boundaries and ways of executing exactly what you've explained in a way that makes sense to them. And not only that, they need to understand the guardrails around your teaching. And what ends up happening is when you just create a course, people don't have any guardrails around what you're teaching and therefore they fuck it up. And so, what we want to do with the AI layer of execution is have AI be the guide that helps them apply your teachings. right? So you give AI the frameworks, you tell AI what the guardrails are, and it will help coach your clients for you on the actual execution phase of what you're delivering so that by the time they start executing on the things that you've taught, it gets done properly and they actually leave with the intended solution in hand versus them trying it on their own and struggling and not knowing that they're doing things incorrectly because they don't have your knowledge. And then the layer number three is feedback and accountability. So we want to build automated checkpoints along the way that are going to allow people to know what good execution looks like, what they're supposed to be doing, and give them feedback on their work or whatever it is that you're helping them apply to their own life. And then we want to give them the accountability so that they don't get lost along the way, they don't fall off the path, and they stay on track, right? Because the average course completion rate is something like 5 to 10%. And the reason why that happens is because courses have no accountability or support layer behind them. And so we want to solve all of these problems. And if you can do all of these things well, then your clients will get consistent results and probably better results because you are no longer the bottleneck. You are not the person that has to coach them one on one. And they're not relying on you to provide the results. They can provide themselves results and they can work at their own pace and probably quicker because you're not the bottleneck anymore. So, what we want to do at layer one, the knowledge layer, is teach once and guide forever. The purpose is to deliver the strategies, the frameworks, the mental models that people need to actually get results. You want to create modular learning tracks for your clients, structured based upon the outcome that they want to achieve, and not just overwhelming them with knowledge, but what is the least amount of knowledge that they need to achieve the goal? What is going to help push them forward? That's all we're concerned about. And in order to make sure that they stay on track, they should only unlock the next phase when they're done with the previous one. And you're going to create mini AI agents inside of each of your modules to actually walk them through the implementation just to make sure they don't fuck it up. All right. So this replaces like static courses or endless one on one calls with you and big information dumps that are overwhelming to your audience, right? We want to give them the bare minimum of what they need to get the end result and not overwhelm them with information because then they won't get results and they won't implement anything. All right. So at layer two, this is the AI execution. This is where you are going to literally clone yourself and you're going to let clients apply what you teach without actually needing you to be there. I have one that teaches my clients how to build offers. I have one that teaches them how to create content, how to build a custom content strategy for themselves. I walk them through the process and then I have AI actually build it out for them. And it's not static based on just one core concept. It customizes itself based upon who's using the tool. Therefore, it's completely flexible, and I don't have to teach them how to do it. So I create one module in my course that teaches them not only how to use the tool, but also the philosophy behind the offers and how to create them. So now they have the knowledge, and then they have someone working with them to actually apply the knowledge. And I train AI on what the perfect framework should look like and what doing it wrong looks like as well. So it knows how to work with them in unison to create the best end result. I create automations for them that just get plugged directly into their business and they don't really have to do anything. So it's helping them execute the things that you're teaching in the most strategic way possible so that they don't have to do a lot of work. And the less work that they do, the happier they're going to be as long as they get the results. So you want your AI agents to be clones of yourself so that they can coach your clients for you and then dynamically work with each client based on what they need. All right, now layer three is feedback and accountability. So this is making sure that your clients get results without you babysitting them. So the purpose of this is to keep clients on track, keep them inspired, and keep them self-accountable at scale. So the best way to do this is through automated KPI tracking and dashboards, which I've built out for my clients. What we do is we have weekly progress check-ins that are automated. So we're checking their KPIs, they're submitting their results, and all of it gets tracked and then put into an overall report that gets sent back to them and tells them exactly what they need to focus on, where they're struggling, and what they need to do to improve upon the things that they're struggling with. We use a gamified approach that makes building a business fun, but this can apply to you and whatever it is that you coach on or consult on because it's going to help your clients progress quicker and feel like it's fun when they make progress. Your clients are going to upload their information every week. They get a report back and it tells them exactly where they're at, what they need to do to achieve their goals, and what's preventing them from doing so right now. So instead of them getting off track or getting lost in the process, they know exactly what they need to work on. Therefore, you don't have to check in with them every single week. You can allow your system to just do the work for you, which replaces all the hand holding and over delivery and being on constant calls, just trying to get that same result. And what I call the bonus layer is I want to make one on one calls or group calls not required for your business. So the goal of this is to make human access to you not required. It's optional, right? And so what that means is you can host weekly or monthly calls in a group session, or you can also have a dedicated Slack community for your premium clients or the people that are paying for your high ticket services. But you can also have a community based stack where they're getting maybe a workshop every month or maybe a weekly call where you talk to the entire group of people that you're working with, but they're not the premium top tier clients that get those one on one private individual calls from you. And everyone is still progressing regardless. And so you only need a lean team, one person to edit your content and produce videos for you, and another one to actually manage your community and things of that nature. But you don't need a massive team. You don't need a sales team. You don't need all of this bloated stuff that most of the people in the coaching industry are using because it's unnecessary, right? Use your content to build trust and to attract the right clients. And we don't need to take sales calls anymore. So, right now, at this point, you have one choice to make. You can either continue to keep doing things the way that you've been doing them so far, or you can choose to do things differently, right? If you're the person that just wants to build a profitable business in a simple way, you don't want the overhead bloat, you don't want a massive team, you don't want to take sales calls, you don't want to spend all of your money on paid ads, and you're more focused on the profitability of your business than hitting $1 million a month, and you just want to build something that's simple that gives you the freedom to travel the world, to do whatever you want to do, then I highly recommend just joining the school community. That's where we're making the most progress. That's where you're going to get access to building the systems the way that I've shown you inside of this video. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this.